I'm gonna move just so that because that's the mic that picks up over there.
Okay. Oh, so that's going right into the thing.
That's and I think it's live, so
I tested and I was like, I don't hear myself. That's all good.
well, it's off now. But, okay.
Dads and daughters. And everybody. I need that strong sense.
Delighted to be with you. Yeah, good to see you too. How are you doing? Good.
Unofficially, just looking over your shoulder.
Yeah. Zuko. Z-U-K-O.
Okay.
You're familiar with the Avatar TV
I am.
show.
Yeah.
So that.
Okay, cool.
I don't plan on being burned in space. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, great character.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's definitely the most interesting.
Oh, yeah. You just need to find this little wire. Maybe you or
Maybe one of his uncles really.
yeah.
Got out to the van at the end
Thanks for having me down here.
and my daughter says, well, that was the first
And then you brought your children. You bring all of them? Did she live in your house? Hi.
I'm here with a friend of mine. What a great service. One of the best I've seen in a long time.
Weddings, family events,
Where you went?
Yeah.
So I moved down here in July, and she was down here as well. So we got to visit. Wherever we were at, the most interesting place we were at. Very clear that she was there. Lovely woman.
Yeah.
So we met. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. Hey, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You did very well. I'm sorry, I think it was the night before we got the 800 Christmas party. Yeah, we'll get together one of these days. That's good.
These little sliders are She didn't have to go after a snap. I was afraid that the second cover immediately
All right, everyone, if you could either find a seat or just get ready, we'll have our speeches now. And we'll start with some opening remarks from Bob Heinrichs and then from the family. Uncle Bob?
Yeah, no problem. What's that?
I want to talk about the things on the tables to other counters can take them. If they need extra copies, they can just sign their name and whatever they want writing.
You can do that now. That's fine.
Just a quick thing about the books that are on the table. Those are for people to take home if they would like to. There's only 20 copies of them. So if you're out of town and you want to take one home, take it home. If you're close by, I can make more copies. So if you just want to write your name on there's a piece of paper on that table, and then I'll make another copy of the book if you want a copy of that book. If we run out of them, and I'll make more of them, and I'll send them to you if you have your address. So anybody that is around and wants to take one, feel free to take one. And local people, if you want to sort of let the outer towners pick them first so I don't have to mail as many. Thank you.
I would really, from the bottom of my heart, our heart, needless to say, it's been a little overwhelming. This is not the plan we had 7 months ago when our daughter came down here and we brought her down here. And we're incredibly, incredibly thankful for the 7 months that we've had with her. Washington was her home. And for the people that are here from Washington, I cannot thank you enough for loving our daughter, for taking her into your home, giving her a place where she loved to be, and loved what she did and loved the people that were there. It's going to be hard. It's been overwhelming to see the impact that she had for us, to see what she did in Washington. We visited her in Washington, but the people, the feedback, the stuff that we've had has been immense. And looking at all the pictures and everything that have been coming and people have sent and been posted on Facebook, and I don't know if anybody noticed, there's a theme, two themes. One is always laughing, always smiling, and the other is always children and always people, her friends. Everybody knows Carina's laugh. It's infectious, and we're gonna miss it. And so just thank you from the bottom of our hearts to everybody who has loved her, has been in her life, and been a part of her life, because it just means the world to us. And she meant the world to us, but the fact that you cared means the world to us as well. So thank you. I think. Sorry, I think we're gonna have some of the family, I think, has some stuff, and then we're gonna open it up. I know there's other people that would like to say stuff, and I would welcome it. So thank you.
Good evening. So I wrote something down so I wouldn't kind of forget and lose my place. I think anything that I'm going to say about Carina has already been said or felt by everyone here. And she was someone who left a mark on all of us in her own unique way. Carina moved away from home when I was 15, so I didn't get to know her as well in that kind of part of my life. So it was right after my freshman year of high school, and at that point in our lives, we butted heads a lot. Both of us are pretty opinionated, and we didn't really give each other the space to have our own opinions. And I spent the next couple of years of my life during kind of my college years butting heads with her pretty much any time that we would visit, as she would come down for summers and stuff like that. But as I personally grew and matured, I was lucky enough to develop a truly special relationship with her as adults. And that really came to fruition years later as Eric and I started our family and we began raising our children. A few years ago, we had the kind of difficult, necessary conversation about who we would want to care for our kids if something ever happened to both of us. And that was something that, although she didn't have, I'm sorry. So during her visits, whether on Christmas breaks or during our family trips to the Carolinas, I saw a side of Carina that I hadn't fully appreciated when we were younger. This is the Carina that I think any one of her younger cousins can attest to, and they knew well, which is the one who stepped naturally into that loving and nurturing role. And although she didn't have children of her own, I saw what a wonderful parent she would have been, though that never happened. Her patience, care, and ability to connect with kids and my kids made her an obvious choice for us. And so Eric and I both felt strongly that she was the best person to step into that role if ever needed. And so when we asked her a few years ago, she didn't hesitate, knowing what it would mean. And obviously it never came to pass, but she didn't hesitate. And of course she said yes to being that role for us. And so she had that very special place in my heart for someone who I had seen in her, someone who could raise our children the way that, in a similar way to what we value and have the same values. So when she received her cancer diagnosis earlier this year, it broke all of our hearts. And watching her go through such a difficult time was incredibly painful to everyone who loved her, and especially my parents, who, in the last 3 years, what I've seen from them has been monumental as far as just the care and love that they've taken care of both of their parents in a very, in a way that I hope to one day be able to live up to. And then doing that for something that they should never have to do, which was taking care of their daughter in those moments. I believe that in heaven, Carina will be surrounded by children. I don't know all the roles or jobs that you can have in heaven, but I'm certain that hers will involve kids. She's always been a magnet for her nieces, nephews, and younger cousins, and they all love nothing more than to snuggle up with her as she read them stories or entertained them in her unique ways that she always could. And I'm going to close it with just kind of what I would like us all to think going forward is, I don't live with regret. A few months ago, Carina messaged Eric and me about a concert, about going to a concert by a band that we all really enjoyed. Life was busy. We didn't get around to going to that concert. There was multiple kind of things that just didn't work out to doing it. And as I reflect on those missed opportunities, I'm reminded of how fleeting life can be, because I didn't think that there wouldn't be another opportunity to do that with my sister. And so we never know it'll be the last time to do the things with the people that we love. So I encourage all of us to make the time for the people who matter, and let's not let the busyness of life get in the way of creating and cherishing those moments, because we truly never know when those last moments are going to be. And I thank everyone who made the really hard journey. It's really impactful for my family, for so many of you guys to have made what doesn't go unnoticed, which is a really hard trip on a last minute's notice, to drop everything in your own personal lives. All of our cousins with huge families that are mobilizing everyone and getting down here on a moment's notice. It means the absolute world to my family. And like I said, it's not easy to travel from everywhere that you guys travel through and jump through all the hoops. And so for that, we are eternally and gratefully, deeply grateful to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Would anyone else from the immediate family like to come up and share a few words? Devin?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. It's so wonderful to see everybody here. It's wonderful to see everybody here. Thanks for coming. Well, I wanted to share a small story, my favorite memory with my sister, just for fun. She was just an incredible listener. And one of my favorite things that I have such strong memories of are cozying up with her on a couch or at a table or somewhere where you could tell that she was just about to give you all of her attention. And if you've ever been with Carina, when she's right there and right here, there's nothing like it. And in high school, I would have problems like high school students have, and it was such a beautiful thing for me to go to my sister and just cuddle up and get cozy and get really close, and have her be listened to and listen to me. And she was my big sister. And yeah, so many things have touched me. Landon, your song was really, really beautiful. And it just made me remember all those times of the way that she is and the way that she still is. Justin, thank you for your beautiful words. Where did you go? I think that's one thing we can all do. I think just to honor her memory and to live a few more times this year than last year. Reach out to somebody that you love. Tell them that you love them. And yeah, life is this beautiful gift, and it can be over before you know it. And so I just wanted to thank my brothers, Landon and Justin. I wanted to thank my parents, mom and dad, for being so strong in the last 6 months. And I want to thank my wife, Rachel, for being such an incredible person to my own sister, and just opening up your heart to her from a really, from the beginning. And yeah, so to all of you, I love you, and Carina loves you, and let's tell each other that more in her name. And thanks for coming. Blessings.
I wasn't planning on saying anything, but I figured I would, share just a little bit about Carina and my relationship. I was the little sister that she never had. I think as the youngest, I think she lost hope after me and knew that there wasn't going to be any others. And I just have memories of her taking me into her room, and like she would sit there and we'd play with dolls together and do everything sisters would do with each other. And I think my wife can thank her for the feminine man I've become because of that. Huh? What? I don't know what you're saying. But yeah, there was a time I remember going into her room, and we sat in the beds, and she would we practiced probably for half an hour. One of us saying thank you, the next one saying achoo, thank you, or no, it was, I can't remember now, but it was achoo, bless you, thank you, and then we would switch roles, and then the next person would say achoo, bless you, thank you, and she was trying to help me learn my manners from a young age. But she always really took care of me, and I went through a phase, and the song that was at the end I had written, and there's a lyric in there where I have specific memories of being terrified, and I went through it for about a year where I was scared of everything. So I thought I was going to die. I'd get a bug bite. My parents can remember this. I thought I'd get a bug bite, and I would think that it was some random weird gene that had never been discovered before, and it was going to kill me in my sleep. And I remember Carina, I would have to sleep with the lights on a lot, and Carina would come in and she would tuck me in. Yeah, but yeah, she'll be missed, loved, and truly thank you guys all for coming here and honoring her in this way. It means a lot to see. I mean, people from high school, family members, everybody here celebrating her, because she really was a wonderful and amazing sister and friend and daughter. And yeah, thank you so much.
I'm so scared. I've been preparing for ever since she has passed. But now I can't really find the words to say about my Aunt Carina. Oh right, most of you know me, but I'm her niece, Ella. My Aunt Carina was the best. She's just amazing. I can't say anything. It's just one memory that was my favorite of her. It's when all my cousins and me would gather around her, and we go, "Oh, hail the Queen! Oh, hail the Queen!" And we'd laugh, and it was so amazing. And I'm so thankful for those times we get to share together. And thank you all for being here. It means so, so much to me. Thank you.
Since I cried through my poem, I'm going to tell you a funny story about Carina. I'm Carina's cousin, Annika, and I grew up as part of the Across the Backyard homeschool situation. And I was so lucky to have all of the Heinrichs kids as our sort of spare extra siblings because I only have one actual sibling. And later I was in college with Carina, and Carina and I lived together after college. Carina was the maid of honor in our wedding, my wedding to Chris, who was the speaker today for the eulogy. And when I was 6 or 7, maybe even a little younger, as little kids do, I thought, eventually I'll be older than Carina. And at some point, it kicked in my head that I was never going to be older than Carina, and I was devastated. And Carina found out, and she was like, very pleased. She probably already knew because she's 2 years older than me. But a couple of months ago, she has clearly been holding on to this. I was messaging with her, and she was like, you know what? Maybe you will be older than me. And I was like, you absolute jerk. That's all I have to say.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I think we need some more laughter. One of the things that I really loved about Chris's service honoring Carina was the different pieces of her that we saw, from Pennsylvania, even Kempton, and then Maryland, and down here. And it was so rewarding for me to be able to hear all just the different pieces and the different contexts that she had. So I just want to give you part of her Pennsylvania context. Was talking with Justin the other night, and we were realizing that when she was up there, we got her for, I think, 6 years, 4 years of college. And then she and Annika lived in our basement and sucked up giant spiders with the Dustbusters. You guys did great down there. My kids, the circle is just so amazing, because my strongest memory of Carina, other than the really funny one I'll tell you, is I would be cooking dinner, and I had single mom, 5 small kids, and Carina the magnet. She would come up and she would be sitting in the chair facing the kitchen while I'm cooking dinner, and all my kids would just be draped over her, draped. And I know that when I say that, I know that her siblings know what that means, because your kids are draped on her. And then when I come down here and see your kids draped on her the same way that my kids were draped on her, while she regaled them with off-color stories and encouraged rebelliousness and naughtiness. And I loved every bit of it. You always knew they were going to learn something that I really didn't want them to learn yet. But it was such a gift. But the main thing that I just want to say, the context of her ability to herd children. At one point, she was babysitting for me, and it was around Christmas, actually. I had all the elves hanging from the chandelier, and right before I left, I'm like, okay, just as long as no one's swinging from the chandelier. And I came back, and our chandelier was off of the ceiling and was on our table with all of the elves. We still have those elves, and now we glue them onto the chandelier because they're missing body parts, because the kids did swing from the chandelier while I was gone. And I don't know what she said to have that happen, but I'm sure it was good. So I just wanted to give a little piece of how much she's meant. She was a huge part of my kids growing up. Every Sunday, she was there at family dinner, influencing them in many, maybe as yet untold ways. And we love her.
So I want to say something about the family as a whole. First of the 3 brothers, you guys lucky to have her as a sister. And I just want to acknowledge that's got to be tough, because I got 3 siblings, and I couldn't imagine not having them here right now. So just want you to know it's hard. And for Bob and Janina, you guys, great parents. And Kathy and I got to see Carina on the 22nd, 2 days before she passed. She spent almost the whole time
talking about how great Bob and Shanita were. Yeah, just and it rings true. You guys have an amazing family, and back to Karina. She, for our kids, that and it wasn't just Karina. She was the ringleader of her three siblings, but all four of them together, our kids. Anytime we were with them, Kathy and I did absentee parenting. It was just leave them with the group and trust that they'd come back in one piece and have lots of great stories to tell. So our family loves your family, and we're feeling for you in a deep way. And the Lord will take care of her, and I do love the idea that someday we're all going to go meet this man that's lucky enough to call her his wife.
I sincerely hope I'm not going to have the last word, even though in most situations that is my dearest hope. So hopefully somebody else is going to stand up after this. Everybody has said how amazing she is, and I have a little video on her page about the magic she has brought into our family's life. But to have a light note to it, Mary was talking about how she managed to teach her children to be naughty. Carina also was part of teaching our children how not to be very good, perfect little children, because our children knew that you could only behave the good and perfect way because daddy and mommy weren't having the not so good and perfect way. So whenever anything needed to happen that wasn't good and perfect, they would check in with Carina and the next door cousins to make the bad stuff happen. And then it could be blamed on Carina and Justin and Devin and Landon. Because, yeah, they could somehow get away with it because they had chill parents and these ones weren't so chill. So Carina brought magic into our lives in so many ways. And one of the ways she did it was she at least allowed our kids to have a more normal childhood, in spite of the fact that they had us as their parents.
Carina was a dear friend of our family and many people at Washington New Church Society. She lived upstairs in the apartment at my house for many years, and I just wanted to mention a couple things that come to mind when I think of her. She would, you're familiar with the fact that she was always under a pile of kids after church, and for me that's one of the defining images of Carina, and one of the things that's most irreplaceable about her. You meet a person like that, like once in a long while, who is that person that makes that the kids just gravitate to because they know that she loves them and it's okay. But she also was a huge supporter of the teenagers in our community, and my daughter's among them. That she would take them just driving, just for the fun of it, out so that they could process life and teenagerhood and whatever's going on. They would drive around. There was one road, if you go a little bit from our suburb till it gets a little countrified, there was one road that they named Murder Road, just just for the delicious drama of it, as Carina would probably say. But I was interested that when I was meditating on her life and her character, the word that came to me was actually wise, because she was obviously very, very humorous and accepting, but I think she really knew how to live. She understood the world and what was important, and knew how to encourage people and lift them up and make them laugh, so she passed on too soon. But she lived in the way that a person should live. She she lived in a loving and generous way, and that is a huge blessing. So we're tremendously blessed to have had some time with Carina, and the blessing that the Lord sent us through her. Thanks.
I'm going to quick come do this before I get too scared. My daughter is married to one of the Heinrichs Williams, and long before that happened, she came home from school one day and said, "Mom, we have this amazing new teacher, Miss Carina. She's so cool." Years later, when Freya was gone, back up in ANC at school, when my husband would travel, Carina would come over to our house in Mitchellville, and we'd have a movie night, and she would regale me with stories of growing up. So it's how I know what I know about her childhood is she loved to tell stories and that great laugh. She also supported me in a different way, which was I was trying to find outlets for my son, who's a 30-year-old with autism. And I didn't realize how much she supported young adults in general. So that this makes sense. But she was out with me and my son Owen to dinner at a Chinese food restaurant. And I've since learned that she had a real aversion to vomiting. So that feeds into the story. Owen is an individual with autism and dysregulated movement, and he will do things when he's stressed that he does not intend to do. So that's kind of a constant in dealing with him. And so Owen and myself and Carina are out to dinner at this Chinese food restaurant, and Owen reaches over and grabs the wasabi off her plate. It's a great big thing of wasabi, and he goes, "Oh," and he's like, I thought he was gonna die, and she jumped up from the table and looked very un-Carina-like, no sense of humor. Like somehow he put the wasabi down and he didn't asphyxiate, but that's one of the great Carina stories that I
I work down the hall from Rebecca Russell at the Office of Education up at the General Church offices. And so she has a professional role with Carina. So this is a letter she wrote to Bob and Janina. As you know, New Church education has been an essential use of the church for many years and has been brought to life by its dedicated teachers. Carina was one of these teachers. In her reflections on teaching, Carina expressed her core desire related to her students to help them become angels. I think she beat them to it. She did this by teaching them about and building an affection for the Lord and his creation and his commandments. Her observers always commented on the lovely warm sphere in her classroom, her calm and caring demeanor, her sensitivity to students with challenges, and her obvious delight in teaching students in grades 1 and 2. She was adored by her students who felt safe and loved in her classroom. She was an intelligent and creative teacher. We are so grateful to her for serving her students, the Washington New Church School, and the church for the many years she did. While we know that she will be able to continue serving this use in heaven without the burden of physical pain, we know that her presence will be greatly missed at both WNCS and in the hearts and minds of her family, friends, and community. We send our heartfelt condolences to all. With affection, Rebecca Russell and your friends at General Church Education. And I just want to say, as I was sitting in church today and listening to all the things and seeing all the loving people around, I was thinking, I wish we could get invited to her wedding, and it's got to be coming soon.
I am Freya. I'm Kier's wife, if that helps anyone. Chris asked me to read this letter. It was in the Washington New Church and School newsletter. So I actually don't know specifically who wrote it, but I will now read it. As most of you know by now, our dear friend, teacher, and colleague passed away Christmas Eve after a fierce battle with cancer. Carina came to us in 2011 as a new teacher, freshly minted from Bernathen College to accept the job of teaching our first and second grades. By the time Carina left us in May 2024 to begin her battle with cancer, she had taught for 12 years. A full cycle of the Washington students who came to WNCS in 2011 and graduated 10th grade. 6 from the very beginning. Oh, I don't know if that 6 was supposed to be there. From the very beginning, it was clear that Carina loved her first and second graders. By the end of her first year, she already had a small pile of students clamoring for her cozy, loving lap. As the years went by, and those students moved on to higher grades, they knew Miss Carina's door was always open for a visit or a hug. Miss Carina's teaching style was that of love and patience. A beautiful day would not go by without her taking her little ones to read in the sun or perch in trees. On other occasions, she would bring them outside into the classroom, a tent or an igloo in a corner of the room, plants always on the windowsill, and even baby ducks and a goose for the children to raise. During the pandemic, when all classes were held virtually, she offered class every Friday morning outdoors in the forest garden. Our teachers counted on Miss Carina as a friend and mentor. Whether going out to Starbucks or Panera with them, or taking a few girls on a late evening, oh, sorry, I said teachers, that was supposed to say teenagers. Or taking a few girls on a late evening drive, Carina was always available to give her time. Her colleagues here at the school loved her sense of humor and deep, heartfelt laugh. Yet she was never shy of a good argument, academic, religious, or political. There's much more to share about our friend that would take the entire newsletter and more. We will miss her terribly here at the Washington New Church School and the Washington Church of the New Jerusalem. And there are some photos here, so I'm going to put this on the back table for anyone who wants to look at those or read it. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to say a few words? Please come up. There you go.
All I wanted to say was I hope Aunt Carina has a good afterlife.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hi. These are some of the most amazing people in this room. I don't know what I'm going to say. I was a neighbor of Ken and Kim and their 8 children for many years. And they were like the best family I've ever met in my whole entire life. And I've tutored reading with Janina. I didn't know Carina super well, but I think how blessed she was and still is to have all of you as part of her family and friends. I just met someone who said there were 17 or 18 cousins. And you're just all so privileged. And I'm looking around, every person in this room is such a miracle. And I don't know if I believe that there's an afterlife, but if there is, I want to be part of this family. They're amazing. Thank you.
$10 a.m. Would anyone else like to share a few words? Joram?
Just wanted to say that Karina had always made an effort to attend every single one of her cousins' weddings. She even left her family early in Paris so that she could attend one of my sister's wedding. So she was willing to ditch her whole family just so she could attend everybody's wedding. So I just wanted to note that effort. Also, a funny story that I wanted to share is she took me and Rana back when we finished ANC camp, and she was always about the journey, never about the destination. She didn't care how long it took. She was in it for the adventure. And it made me appreciate the journey a little more because I'm always, let's get there. But one of the things we joked about was when we crossed the border, they always ask you if you have anything to declare. And she's always joked, I'll hold it in my hands, a bunch of grasshoppers. I'll open them up to the border guard and say, I declare my love for you. So that's all I have to say.
On the note that Karina wanted to attend all of the cousins' weddings, she wanted, before she left, she wanted to take a little bit of her hair, when she cut off her hair. The goal was she still wants to attend all of the cousins' weddings. And so we've made little things and put her hair in it. And she is expecting those to go to whatever weddings are left of her nieces and nephews. And we're going to make them for her for her cousins. We're going to make them for her nieces and nephews as well. This is something she desperately wanted to have happen. And also, thank you. We have felt so much love since her passing and before, with so many people. We've just been overwhelmed by the amount of love that has come our way with everything, the cards, the hugs, everything. And it's heartwarming. I know how much it makes us realize how much she was really loved, and she loved you guys. And the biggest thing she wants is for you guys to know that she loved you, and she still does. So, thank you.
All right, maybe one or two more, and then no? All right, well, if I could have everyone rise, let's sing The Lord Upon You. And could I have someone start us off, please?
Lord upon you send his blessing, wisdom with your years increase. Make his face to shine upon you, and forever give you peace.
To Karina.
Thank you all for coming.